May was the most expensive month for potential buyers to purchase a home since 2006 due to record home prices and surging mortgage rates.
That's right. The affordability crisis is prompting more buyers to give up on their quest for home ownership, and it's pressuring sellers to rethink their asking prices. According to the National Association of Realtors, the typical monthly mortgage payment with a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage and a 20% down payment rose to more than $1,800 in May. Now, that is up from nearly $1,300 in January and $1,200 around this time last year.
Joining us now is Holden Lewis. He is a mortgage reporter at NerdWallet. Holden, thanks so much for being with us. So this is interesting because typically we evaluate the housing market by who has the upper hand between the buyer and the seller, but at the moment it feels like it's a lose-lose situation on both ends. The pace of home sales is slowing, leaving more homes on the market that people cannot afford to buy. What kind of market are we actually dealing with right now?
We've had a very, very strong seller's market for a few years now, and it is still a seller's market, that's for sure. But the balance of power is sliding slightly toward buyers, because you're seeing fewer homes being sold, and so you're seeing more homes on the market for sale. And so that gives home buyers a little bit more leverage. For example, they can really insist on having that house inspected, where 6 months ago they felt like, I've got to waive that contingency. I can't even afford to get the house inspected because the seller will reject me. Those days, I think, are over, and you're just starting to see a lot fewer bidding wars.
So let's talk about adjustable rate mortgages because, as you know, they suffered a tarnished reputation after the 2008 financial crisis. Millions went into foreclosure as they sort of started out with those lower mortgage payments and they quickly rose to a place people couldn't handle. So as home buyers grapple with skyrocketing prices and interest rates, we're seeing these adjustable rate mortgages, or so-called ARMs mortgages, that they're making a comeback. In May and June, at least 10% of mortgage applications consisted of them. So that sounds kind of scary, those of us who remember that crisis, right? So as Americans deal with inflation, could we see a possible repeat of the 2008 crisis?
No, I just don't think we're going to see a repeat of that crisis. And when we talk about ARMs, they were really irresponsibly done back from 2005 to 2008. And today's ARMs are really, really different. You have to prove that you can not only afford that ARM while the rate is still, at that introductory rate, but that you can afford the payments after the first adjustment. So, I think ARMs are just, we're not going to see them contribute to any kind of housing crash.
It sounds like there were some lessons learned after that. I remember that period of time very, very well.
Absolutely.
Well, now home sales are getting canceled at the highest rate since the start of the pandemic. Home buyers are being forced to renege on contracts because higher mortgage rates mean some homes are no longer affordable. So according to Redfin, roughly 60,000 home purchase agreements nationwide fell through in June. How does this impact the sellers?
Well, a lot of those sellers are home builders. And so what they're doing is they're kind of, going back to the drawing board. And I think a lot of them are thinking about possibly subsidizing the mortgage rate for the first 1 or 2 or 3 years for the buyer and kind of gradually acclimatizing buyers to those full percentage rate mortgages. And then, for everyone else, a lot of people are having to relist their homes and really, really think carefully about their asking price.
Holden, I wonder whether a lot of people decided, hey, let me take advantage of this strong seller's market. I'm not sure I'm ready to sell, but you know what? Let me jump in now. And like anything, maybe they timed it a little incorrectly. Now is the time when a lot of people are listing their homes and realizing, hey, I might not get the price I could have gotten for it even 6 months ago.
I really think that is the case. I think that a lot of sellers had this idea that, I'm going to put my house on the market and I'm going to have 10 or 12 or 20 people making offers competing against each other. And man, that is just simply not happening. I think that a lot of houses for sale, they're getting 1 or 2 or 3 offers. They're good, solid offers from people who know that they can still afford to buy a home.
Right.
But what that really means is that if you're selling a house, you got to really, really pay attention to your asking price and set a reasonable asking price. Otherwise, your house is just going to get passed over.
It's time to be realistic once again in the housing market. All right. Holden Lewis, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.